back at it. School starts today, so I got to get up at 05 because if I don't, that means I have very little time in the morning to do the things that I like to do to get my day going. So that means I got to wake up earlier. So I'm waking up at 05 to be on screen by 06. So that's just the way it's going to be. I want to switch things up a little bit. I want to focus more exclusively on the training as opposed to the interpretation of the stanzas. So what I'd like to do is invite you to play a role in the interpretation of the stanza as you see fit. So I'm going to read the stanza. We're going to go into the training. We'll do 4 bells, and then I'll read the stanza again and invite you to leave some comments about it on Facebook or YouTube or however you're watching. So yeah, let's do that. So we're on week 9. Week 9, and this is the 42nd stanza. The way of the warrior cannot be encompassed by words or in letters. Grasp the essence and move on towards realization. The way of the warrior cannot be encompassed by words or in letters. Grasp the essence and move on towards realization. Okay. Find your comfortable posture. Move towards comfort. So remember, first bell is all about safety. Okay? So the best way to establish safety is first to just establish a comfortable position. What cues your comfort? Is it your legs? Is it your back? Is it your shoulders? Is it your spine? Is it your jaw? What is it? Do you know what that is? You need to know. You need to know what areas need special attention. So that's where you kind of start. That's like, okay, I'm getting myself set. Now we're going to go into first bell. And first bell is it's a very strategic attempt to assess your environment in the most accurate way possible. So here we go. So let's start with the eyes. Just take a look. Notice shapes, colors, lines, light and shadow, whatever jumps out for you. And just kind of assess with your eyes the kind of the stability of where you are. You see any, things fluctuating visually, like lots of movement or stuff like that. Count for that. If everything's still, notice light and shadow. And if everything feels, not just feels, but if you see safety in the sense of nothing's going to fall on you, nothing's coming at you, there's nothing that you've got to worry about. And if you feel safe enough to do it, close your eyes. If you want to, just keep your eyes kind of open, but cast them down. You're essentially creating a sense with your body that I don't need my eyes anymore. They can be offline. So then move into sound. Again, noticing sound in the context of, is there anything moving? Is there any sound that's moving towards me? Is there anything that I have to kind of address? And be methodical. If the answer is no, then move into where are the sounds that you hear? What are they doing? If all the sounds that you hear are basically kind of pretty contained, there's nothing to kind of worry about or surprise you, you can go ahead and let your awareness of sound kind of subside and move into your sense of touch. So what's touching you? Is there anything touching you that you have to contend with or have to worry about or have to account for? And if there's nothing there, then notice what is there. And what is there is always going to be air. You're always going to have the potential to feel the air around you and the temperature of the air around you. And then if you want, you can notice differentiation between the skin that's open to the air and the skin that's covered by something. So maybe something's covered by a blanket or your clothing. Now, sense of taste, sense of smell. You're now interacting with the things that are a little bit more closer in. So now you're actually interacting with the stuff that's being pulled into your body or inside your body with your mouth. So again, let's just notice taste. Obviously, if you're not eating anything, you don't have to worry about anything coming into your mouth. And then smell. Just notice what you smell. Chances are that mostly what you smell is nothing. Maybe there's a hint of something. For me, there's a hint of cardboard. I can smell a little bit of a cardboard box near me. But mostly there's nothing. Now, the last thing I want you to pay attention to, we've just gone through your 5 senses. The last thing I want you to pay attention to is that sixth sense. You know that sense where it's like, hey, something doesn't feel right about this, or something's off, or I don't know what it is. That's your 6th sense. Now, I want you to think about that, and I want you to kind of open your awareness and just look in your body, look in your 6th sense for any kind of triggering. Now, chances are you're in a safe space already, so there's a better than average chance. I'd say there's a 99% chance that your 6th sense is not triggered. That said, it could be. So, looking is important. Finding is not important. Looking is important. Looking and recognizing that there's nothing triggering your 6th sense is a clear indicator that where you are is safe. Now, you don't take my word for it. You take your own awareness for it. And if that's the case, then you can, without a doubt and without worry and without fear, move deeper into the practice. Let's go second bell. Your body. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about what's underneath you. It's called your ground. Your ground is what is underneath you. It's what's solid. It's what you build off of. Now, because it's solid and it's what you build off of, I want you to kind of yield to it. Let yourself kind of sink into your seat. Just really just kind of sink into your seat. Just get kind of more kind of down and just yield. Just let it all just kind of drop. You don't have to worry about posture. We're going to build that in a minute. But just really yield into where you're sitting and let it just envelop you. Give yourself away to this space. You know it's safe. And it's not like you've shut down your sensors as well. So if anything changes, you'll notice that too. So you can be at ease here. You can be kind of without alertness for a moment. We're going to build the alertness back, but just kind of let everything just kind of like. Now from your ground, set your sit bones. So your sit bones are the base of your spine, okay? Sit bone, tailbone. The base of your spine isn't like a solid like single like it's not like a brick. It's the sit bone tailbone. It's like a sit bone tailbone is a part of the larger complex of the region. So it's these are just words to articulate for you the location that your awareness should be. So with your awareness in that region, shift by kind of tucking and untucking the tailbone and find a middle. And once you've found a middle, kind of shimmer, like shake into it or shift into it. Just kind of give it like a wiggle or whatever to set your base. And once your base is set, move up from the tailbone, sit bones area into the core. Now, the core goes all the way around. It's your belly button, it's your sides, and it's your lower back region, lumbar region. It's also everything inside. There's a lot going on in the core. Imagine the core stacked on top of the region of your sit bone, tailbone, and then come into the region of your heart space. Now, tailbone, sit bone, heart space, core are kind of the three chunks that make up the main body of your spine, okay? So when you're interacting with this space, you want to be thinking about these three chunks as completely interconnected with each other. They have to be in relation to each other. One can't operate without impacting the other two. So you need to be thinking about all three of these spaces as completely intertwined with each other. So think about where your core is, what your core is doing, if it's pulled in, if it's pushed out. Notice that. Then notice what your heart space is doing. Now, your heart space is influenced by your shoulder blades. And your shoulder blades are often influenced by what you do with your arms. So where your elbows are. So if your elbows are kind of in front of you, a lot of times the shoulder blades round up and forward. And if that happens, then your chest typically rounds forward as well. So what you think about is pulling your shoulder blades down and back, and you can even kind of pull your elbows back. That'll do it too. And what you'll notice is an influence across the front of your chest. You'll also notice an influence on your core, and you may also notice an influence on your tailbone region. So inside those three spaces is an opportunity to kind of play around with the alignment of your full spine. Now, it's really important that you notice your shoulder blades. Your shoulder blades is kind of a top heavy, you know? So your shoulder blades are kind of weighted up at the top. And I see this more and more now. I see these kind of like images of people with their shoulders really round. It's kind of this hulking, hunkering, kind of like Neanderthalic kind of look. You need to get your shoulder blades back. You need to have awareness of your shoulder blades. If you don't have awareness of your shoulder blades, it's going to shut your chest down. If your chest is shutting down, your heart is going to be harder to open. And you're just not going to be strong, and you look like an idiot. Get your shoulders back. All right. From there, you move into the throat, jaw, head. Okay, throat, jaw, head is 2 points, but I like to add the jaw in there because you're worried. You're building off of everything. So you've built from the ground to the pelvis region, core, heart space. Now we're in throat, head. So throat, head is another kind of region that's always connected. Now all the regions of your alignment are connected, but these are chunks within chunks. So now, throat, jaw, head, even face. Okay, all of these alignment things that we're working on, they don't have simply one impact. It's not just your alertness. It's not just your body that we're aligning here. We're also aligning all the systems that align the rest of your systems, and in particular, the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve, the wandering nerve, is what kind of the systems of sympathetic, parasympathetic send signals through and receive signals from. So you're establishing a kind of alignment of the information superhighway of your body. And so it's like if without alignment, your comms are shit. And if your comms are shit, you're not getting good information from or out to your being, your body, and your being. So get all the way up to the top of the spine and put a tiny bit of smile into your face. Just the littlest bit, just like is super small, maybe just at one cheek, just the tiniest smile. Because what you've done over the two bells is you've really established not just safety, but you've established a sense of safety and kind of a sense of assurance, like a sense of like, body, we are in a good spot. We're about to do some good stuff. Here's a little smile for you. You've just sent a whole bunch of great comms all through the body. You're basically saying, you're basically creating a warm fuzzy. Yeah, you know the statement, the warm fuzzy. You a little bit of a smile, just a little bit of a smile. It's like it's a warm fuzzy right there. Throw a warm fuzzy into the body. A warm fuzzy traveling through your entire vagus nerves is just a massively positive impact over everything. So that's the first two bells. We've established safety and proper alignment or appropriate alignment. Let's go third bell. Okay, so just notice your breath as it is. It's called a baseline. Now, just focus on your sides. Just focus on your sides and see if you can feel your sides breathing as you move. Feel free to put your hands on your sides if you want, just to feel it, but I want you to focus for the next 2 rounds of breath on the sides moving. Okay? Now I want you to focus on up and down, up and down. See if you can feel the breath move up and down, up and down. Okay, now forward and backwards, forward and backwards. Now I want you to max out 2 rounds of breathing, but I want you to move forward, backward, side, side, up, and down. All directions, okay? Just visualize 3-dimensionality. All parts of the body, forward, backward, side, side, up and down, moving as you breathe. See if you can notice the body moving as it expands out on the inhale and returns to neutral on the exhale. Now notice baseline again. And let's sit quietly for a minute. Now, if you don't know how to do this, you can watch me, but if you've got your eyes closed, I encourage you to keep them closed as you go ahead and go to the open heart position. So you take your right hand, you kind of stick it underneath your left chest. Your left chest, not all the way to the side, but kind of where your heart is. Okay, you stick your left hand where your heart is. Excuse me, your right hand where your heart is on the left side. And then you take your left hand and stick it underneath the thumb. Now I want you to just feel for your heartbeat. Now safety, first bell is the senses, second bell is the body, third bell is the breathing. And everything has its own kind of directionality, right? Has its own kind of spectrum, okay? The spectrum we're in now, the heart spectrum, does not have limits. It's infinite. So the loving kindness that you can push out of your heart, the gratitude that you can push out of your heart, the compassion you can push out of your heart has an infinite quality. And by that I mean it's what taps you into the infinite qualities of life. And at Armor Down, the belief is, and it's really not just the belief, we participate with life at the level of love. So the level of love is the level of the true warrior, the truest warrior, okay, is a warrior that operates from love. It's not from anger, not from fear, not from viciousness. It's from love. And the reason why it operates from love is because that's the most powerful thing there is. So the warrior refines themselves to see that the tip of the spear is sharpened by love. And you can practice and participate with that by understanding and engaging with life in that fashion. Now, the problem that most warriors face is that we've kind of been taught from kind of the old school, which is fine, but it's old. Okay, it's old, which means it's just not as evolved. Like I appreciate the Thompson submachine gun. Okay, I really do. But you can't shoot it for shit, and it's really heavy. And so we figured out a new and better way to do what the Thompson machine gun does. So that's what it means to evolve. Okay, it doesn't mean to stop doing what we've done. It just means to evolve doing what we do. So this open-heartedness, okay, this is where you're most powerful. And so here, what do you want to do? Do you want to put compassion out into the world? Do you want to put compassion towards yourself? Do you want to put gratitude out into the world, or do you want to feel gratitude for yourself? There can be an outward focus, an inward focus, or both. But I'm going to do my own practice, and I'll leave it to you to do yours, and then we'll finish up with reading the stanza again, and we'll be done for the day. Be intentional about how you finish. Take a full inhale, full exhale, and drop your hands away. That's good stuff right there. Okay, so 42. The way of the warrior cannot be encompassed by words or in letters. Grasp the essence and move on towards realization. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. What does that mean to you? there's an opportunity here for a community to be engaged with itself around this practice. So I encourage you to leave comments under the under whatever video version of this you're watching, and I'll see them and I'll interact with them, and we'll build that way as well. So participate how you want. Later, I'm down. See you tomorrow.